Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing Team Kings of Games, and today I'm going to show you guys, well, people have been talking about it, like, my Herald of Perfection deck profile. Oh man, this deck sucks going second, I struggle going second. I'm going to show you guys what happens when you're going second with Herald and you actually draw a good hand. Because here's the thing with going second against any deck that's decent or meta, basically a viable deck. Like, let's say it's a meta deck and then an optimal board. Everybody wants to spam negates. Infinite negate, I can't help you how to break infinite negates at Herald Perfection. Obviously, they're just going to negate your own hand. It's like a mirror match, it's just different, right? But I can show you how you can navigate through at least 3+ negates, right? I would say 2+ negates. Sometimes 4 is just like, dang, It is not realistic that every single deck you play against is going to have 4 negates, but it is very realistic that you're going to have to fight through 2+ interruptions going second. Even if it's Salamander Greats, they might have Rage Roar and an Ash. You never know. It just totally depends. So keep in mind, just in general for any deck going second, it doesn't have to be Herald. If you're going second with any deck, your hand has to be playable. If you don't have a playable or good hand, guess what? They don't have to negate a jack. Like, they don't have to negate a single card. They can just kind of just have their board assembled, and you're just gonna have to scoop, give them the handshake or pass. Because if your hand's not playable, there's nothing that you can do. So your hand has to not only be playable, but you have to have enough starters, /extenders, or even mid-combo pieces to even be juicy or tempting enough for your opponent to want to use one of their interruptions on it. Herald of Perfection happens to be a deck that is full of gas starters, ridiculously powerful spells and extenders, incredible recovery, Star Seraphs, amazing 2-card combo, absolutely amazing. Draw 3, pop, draw again. Like, it's so good. It breaks boards. That's your go-to going second is the Star Series. If you're playing Salamander Greats and you're playing Shadalls, 2 best meta decks currently, right? When you're going second with those decks, if your opponent has a negate for your 2 fusion spells, let's say you open Meltdown, and they're like, I negate Meltdown. And you're like, alright, normal summon Alistair, Ash, and you didn't have a fusion spell, pass, you're done. Or let's say you open Shadal Fusion, and El Shadal Fusion, and then negate both of them. You can't play, right? So Shadal's, because we need a fusion spell, you can lose to 2 negates easy if those 2 negates are used properly on the spells. With Salamander Greats, if you disrupt their normal summon and, you stop their will, if they didn't open like Cyanide Mining plus Spinny, then, and that's the thing also. If your hand's gas, you can obviously go second. Like, and that's with this deck. This deck is so gas. I don't understand why people say it's not good going second. Yeah, I managed to top with the deck. I played it competitively at nearly every single level, and I don't really struggle with those problems that people are talking about. I'm like, I don't know if I'm lucky, and I just always draw a good hand. When I go second with Herald of Perfection, I draw incredible hands. Incredible hands. Okay, so like if you have a Cyanide Mining, Spinny, Will of the Salamander Great, Lady Debug kind of hand, you're going to obviously eat through a couple of negations, easy peasy, and still end on a very optimal board. Same thing with the Shadalls. If you open Meltdown and Alistair and Shadal Fusion, and maybe even like some extra gas, you're obviously like Pot of Desires, you're obviously going to bait a bunch of negates and still break the board. Herald of Perfection is a similar deck like that. You have so many starters, so many powerful cards. You have cards like Pre-Prep. You have cards like Pot of Desires. You have Preparation of Rites. You have the Star Seraph. You have so many ways. Ritual Sanctuary. All your draw 2 spells. You have Geldagra. You have so many ways to crack boards, bait negates. It does not make sense. You know why I think people say this deck sucks going second? It's because they'd rather go first. I honestly believe in my heart that's probably what it is. Or, you know what, it's probably a little bit more than that. But I do believe that people are so set in stone on going first that they don't even pay attention or practice going second. You got to do some solitaire test hands for going second. You got to draw a hand with Herald and you got to say, what if they have 3 negates? This is the what if right now. This is what if they have 3 negates. So if you draw a good hand, so let's say Pot. Pot is one of the best cards to draw second in this deck, as well as Pre-Prep, because they're +1s. People want to negate these so bad. They don't want to resolve a +1. When you draw a double Pre-Prep, it's not even a brick going second, because they'll negate it and you'll activate another one. So let's say you draw your standard +1s, and you have an optimal hand, which means you have your bin 10, or the cards that search it. That's the beauty of this deck's consistency. You can either draw the actual cards or the cards that search them, and it does the same exact thing. So, again, let's say you've got a hand that's looking like this, right? This is at 3, 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 this is at 3. This is searchable. These can just be literally Don, Benton, and Herald. That's gas. You draw that going second. It's amazing because the first action you do is activate Don, summon Herald, and then you play Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can just break any board. So you will get lucky with this deck where you actually just draw your combo pieces And sometimes you draw too many. Sometimes you draw double preparation of rights. And you activate Dawn, they negate the activation. You activate Prep, they negate that. Then you activate the second Prep, you add it back. So this deck can go second, you just have to draw a good hand. That's the thing with Herald. So you have to build your deck to be as consistent as possible. Which means if you need to put incantations in that daggone thing, just to make sure that when they ask your pre-prep, you've got another extender to search out a combo piece and get a body on field, you're going to have to make it do what it do, baby. That's what you're going to have to do. So this is an optimal board right here, right? This is, I picked Galaxy Eyes. I just love Galaxy Eyes so much. This deck's crazy broken. So you got 3 negates. So this is your hand. Obviously, the first card you're going to play going second, if you open pot, it's the first card you play when you're going second, because you don't want to let them get information on what deck you're playing. You want to just activate pot freely, and either they're going to negate it or they're going to let it resolve. And if you draw 2 in this deck, it's so ugly, because then 2 of those cards are going to have to be negated. So you're going to activate pot, right? As long as you didn't banish triple sovereignty or anything like that, you're good to go. So you didn't banish your sovereignties, you're good to go. And I'm proxying Herald of Perfection with the Lee of the World Chalice Fairy, just so you guys know. That's my Herald. So obviously pot's going to have to be negated. They're going to be like, I have to use Titanic because I want to save my Omni negate with Infinity for something else. So bam, 1 negate baited. That's the beauty of playing 3 Pot of Desires in my Herald of Perfection deck. Because not only is it a +1, but when I go second, it baits interruptions. It's the perfect bat. I say it all the time, profile. It's the perfect bait for anything, honestly. Next thing you'll do is activate Ritual Sanctuary. You'll discard Dawn of the Herald, right? Obviously, this is a discard for cost. That's the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Players and their hand traps and their negates. They're so trigger happy when they see a cost like Banish 10, like discard, like pay life points. They're like, ooh, I gotta negate that because that just looks desperate. So also when you're going second, another piece of advice, if you already have your Herald combo pieces and you have extra extenders, activate those, and you want to pretend like you don't have Herald, like you don't have game. You want to make it look like you're desperate to search the cards you need so that they're like, as long as I keep him from getting there, he won't be able to, I can stop him from resolving his combo. So obviously your opponent's going to negate this. If they're me, I'll tell you what I would do. I would let everything resolve. The reason why I would let everything resolve is because if I'm playing against Herald of Perfection, because I know this deck so well, the only card I have to negate is Dawn. But people don't know Heralds. And even the people that play Heralds, not everybody knows it. So obviously you got the negates out the way. You activate your pre-prep. You go ahead and grab your Dawn, and you're going to grab your Herald, which I told you guys what the proxy for Herald is. So this is what happens when you draw gas. When you draw good cards, like this discard for cost, so you take a -1 to bait out an interruption. It's okay, because this deck has +1s, handy dandy, and ready to go. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and activate Dawn of the Herald. So what you're going to do is you're going to tribute your Benton, you're going to summon your proxy Herald of Perfection, and Dawn's going to go to the grave. And so you're going to do some chain links. And me being this player, I'll be like, okay, so I have to negate the Herald, right? You're going to have to use negate the activation of Herald. So this card can't be negated or destroyed. It's like, okay, so do I negate the Benton or do I let it resolve? But guess what? This is the beauty of this. You get to chain block. Chain link 1 Benton, chain link 2 Dawn. Banish Dawn. Add Benton. Chain link 1 resolves. So then your opponent doesn't even get a choice. But also just keep in mind, like, if you're the player that has the negates, you're like, dang, I really need to negate that fairy so that Herald doesn't get cards in hand. But Dawn of the Herald chain blocks with Benton. When multiple spell speed 1 effects occur simultaneously, you get to do what's known as chain blocking. When Dante mills 3 BAs, you get to activate them all in whatever sequence you want because they're happening at the same time and they're spell speed 1s. That's what chain blocking is. So next thing you're going to do, obviously, is just crack the board. You're going to normal summon your Star Seraph Scepter. If he negates it, you're just going to chain, so it doesn't matter. So that's negated, it's not destroyed. You're going to discard the Benton, you're going to stop that. Sovereignty, you're going to draw. So you draw prep, okay, that's gas. Like this deck, I'm telling you, Star Seraphs, the reason why people even say in the video, comment sections of my Herald Perfection profiles, I cut the Star Seraphs for the Venus Shine Ball package. The reason why I will never not play Star Seraphs in this deck is because sometimes this is the only chance you stand going second. Because this deck can easily bait negates and interruptions, but the problem lies then, how do I break the board after I baited the negates? Venus and Shine Ball is like, okay, you're drawing bricks, you're drawing your Shine Balls, you activate Venus, and then you're going to have to go into so many extra deck cards. And now keep in mind, The star shifts allow you to draw your combo pieces going first. They allow you to pop cards and draw cards. They allow you to break boards and still link spam just like Venus and Shine Ball, except you don't have to play those bricky Shine Balls, which I don't really like. So again, you're resolving that. You're going to special sovereignty. You're going to draw another copy of Herald. Let's go ahead and activate that prep. Let's grab ourselves another Bintin. Grab Dawn from the graveyard. And what you're going to go ahead and do, we have a second Herald. This is crazy. We have a second Herald. So if every monster on this board was not so gigantic, here's what I would do. Here's what 3 stacks would do. I would link all these off, right? So let's say, for example, you know, I have Decode Talker in my deck, for example. I would link all these off if all of these weren't so gigantic. I would link all these off into Decode, send the Decode here, activate this Dawn, summon Herald, summon another Herald, then I'll search Christia, especially Christia to Decode Zone, so he's 33, so he can punch over the biggest beater and hope and pray that they don't have another monster big enough. So in this particular scenario, you actually can do that. You can just wall up with Christia, with Decode, and also double Herald, and beat over the biggest monster and leave your opponent in a situation where they can't attack over the Herald, they can't attack over the Christia, and they can't special summon. So you just keep beating over their monsters with Decode until it's game. But I'm going to do it the flashy way, which is bait the negates, break the board, and make a board of my own. So it's Master Roll 5. I'm just going to XYZ right here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to summon the Math Mech that's perfect for going second. I'm going to summon Laplacian. And this card is going to be able to discard a card, send a spell trap, and send a monster. So I'm going to go ahead and target that bad boy to destroy him. I'm going to send this to the grave since it can't be destroyed by card effects. Send that to the grave, destroy that. I'm going to draw a card because of Scepter. So not only have you baited all those negates and you basically broke the board, and not only are you making a board, your hand size is going right back up. You have 4 cards in hand now. Obviously you're going to, you know, detach, do all the effects, and look at the cards you drew. Oh, my bad, man. It's close. And look at the cards you drew. It's amazing. So look at the beauty of this also. Instead of going the Decode, since you broke the board, look at this. That's exactly 4 fairies engraved. Summon Herald. Banish that. Add that back. Search for Christia. Woo! Let's go. Special Christia. Add that. Celestial Observatory. Put Bintin on the bottom. Draw 1. That's a Gildarmer. That's a Brick. Draw 2. It's another Pot of Desires. You broke the board. And you made your own board. Which is crazy. So also, let's just keep in mind, I was just getting ahead of myself. This is big enough to attack over Infinity, so you'll send this off with the Star Seraph combo. So you clear that off, and that way you'll be able to do this. Christia attack over that, that's gone, because you got 2, 4, 6, that's 27 attack, pass turn. Your opponent cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a negation to protect your Christia, they can't do anything. This is what happens when you actually draw a good hand going second with Herald of Perfection. And the same rules apply if you literally just drew a hand like this. Instead of the cards that search them, if you just drew the cards themselves that you want to search. So if you draw this hand, this is gas. Like if you literally draw this hand right here, plus a prep, like let's say it's plus a prep, this same exact hand can break multiple negation boards. It's incredible. And like let's just say that this was a pre-prep. Bro, this is broken. Like this is a okay. Activate negate. Let's say they absorb it. Okay, negate. You activate your prep, you activate your pre-prep. Like yeah, it's just like so crazy. This deck can do so much with the cards that it draws if it draws a good hand. Now obviously if you drew a hand that wasn't optimal enough, you might lose to more than 2 negates, but this deck will on very rare occasions ever lose to double interruptions. Like 2 interruptions, this deck can play through 2 interruptions very easily. But if it's 3 or more, it can be troublesome, but this deck can crack 3 negation boards. You just have to draw a good hand. That same, and now somebody can say, oh, 3 stacks, that's not fair because you're saying you have to draw a good hand all the time going second. Honestly, think of it this way. If you're playing Salad and you know, Invoke Shaddolls, like I said earlier in this video, how the heck are they supposed to play through multiple negations if they didn't draw an incredible hand? If you're playing Salads and you didn't draw a powerful normal summon, and you didn't draw Wheel, and you didn't draw like Synapse Mining plus a Salad, how else are you going to bait all those hand traps or negates? Does it make sense? So it doesn't matter if it's Herald of Perfection or if it's one of the 2 best meta decks. They have to draw an optimal and amazing hand to play through multiple negations and still end on a board. And that's in addition to having to break the board and make a board. I showed you guys that Herald of Perfection is well capable of baiting negates, breaking a board, and making its own board. Now, we did get lucky because Pot of Desires didn't banish, any of the stars there, so thank you for that. But still, you guys are getting my gist. There's a reason why I played 3 pots in my list. There's a reason why sometimes I go in and out with the incantations, because, incantations do bait interruptions. They do bait negates. They make a card like this a +1. There's a reason why I never ever take out the Star Series, because I know that this deck needs to be able to break a board going second. This deck can easily bait negates all day, but the problem becomes breaking the boards. That's why you want the Mathmech rank for, because it allows you to clear monsters that can't be targeted or destroyed, which bypasses what the Star Seraphs normally would do. So that's pretty much it, you guys. There's more to it, but honestly, the best piece of advice I could give you if you're playing this deck going second, proper sequencing, chronological order, and those in tandem with a decent head on your shoulders, meaning a proper skill level, will help you to navigate through multiple interruptions going second. Very easy if you know what card to play first and what cards to play last, and what cards you know that you don't need, so you can just throw them at your opponent. This deck can sometimes just throw its resources to say, stop it. And if not, it's free +1. Pot of Desires, prime example. When you open multiple pre-preparations and your opponent's like, I use Endymion to negate it, and you're like, oh, I had a second pre-prep, I can activate another one. There's so many gas hands you can draw going second. That's when your multiple desires, your multiple this, that are hard ones for turn become live, because your opponent negates them, you can play another one. So the deck by no means is actually a bad deck. It's an incredible deck. It's good going first. It's better going first than it is going second. But for anyone who would ever say this deck cannot go second, you are tripping. For real. That means you're just not playing the right build. Or maybe you're just not lucky and you keep drawing 3 copies of Herald and 3 copies of Dawn or something. Because if you draw any optimal hand, even if it's the Searchers or the cards that actually do get searched by the Searchers, you're going to be able to summon Herald and break boards and make your own board. Herald Christia is still viable going second against Shadows and also against Salmagrates. Because if you can crack that board and drop a Christia, their follow-ups don't even have to be negated, because they can't activate their follow-ups. They can't chain fusion. They can't use will. They can't activate all these effects that would normally rebuild their board, because in this day and age in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody's special summoning in order to build board. You can't really build a board doing a bunch of normal summons or tribute summons. That's like a protect the castles, kind of thing. So, showed you guys what it is. Obviously, different factors vary, based on the composition of your hand. But I told you guys, that's why I compared it to Salad and Invoke, so you understand, if this deck, like Salamagrate and Invoke, if it draws a good hand, it can easily play going second. You just have to draw a good hand. So keep that in mind, because no matter what, even if you're going first, you have to draw a good hand in order to even play. If you draw a bunch of bricks, your opponent doesn't even need to use their Ash Blossom at that point. And obviously people could say, oh, what if your opponent had 1 extra negate? There's so many if, ands, or buts in this game. Like, you just can't play around every single card in the universe. But what you can do is play your hand to the best of its abilities and pray for the best. So thank you guys for watching the video. I'm going to say a quick little prayer and then I'm going to get off. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth, just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus I pray. Thank you, y'all. Amen. Alright, y'all. Deuces is wild.